If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below. Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord, and welcome to episode... Is this episode 6 or 7? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Because a lot of people count episode 0 as its own episode, but in reality it's just number 0. I don't know why the hell I did that, but that's besides the point. Episode 6 or 7, we have our next guest on the podcast station for SeetherCast. And that is Giraffe Man Giraffe, whatever species. Did you just assume my gender? Yeah.
It's Giraffe, yeah.
Anyway, welcome aboard to our podcast for today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, this guy has a channel. He's a furry commentary / furry podcast, primarily focused channel. He has about around, I think, 500 subs, I think?
Almost, yeah.
Almost. And... one of the most shocking videos on this channel is freaking the Mine song, but I don't know. Like, all your other videos are like, you know, like typical everyday views, but then like one of them is like viral, and I'm like, wow.
Alright, so quick little thing on that. I actually made that video only to, because this was like a year or two ago, but it was just to show my friends like how to edit memes and stuff, you know, because they asked me, how do you edit videos? And so I'm like, I'll show you. And I made this one dumb meme, and I uploaded it to my YouTube channel for them to see, and out of nowhere it just blew up. So it almost has 200,000 views.
Nice. How much money did you get off that video?
I don't make money off my YouTube, actually.
Oh, was it because I think all the Lazy Town songs are copyrighted, so... too.
That, and at the time, I still don't have a credit or debit card, but at the time I didn't know how to make money off of YouTube, so...
I got you. But, yeah, I understand. And also, that reminds me of back when I used to make meme videos and things like that, which is a terrible, dark point of my YouTube channel, like the worst part of the channel. Back from making no commentary Let's Play videos to making meme videos to now fursuit and furry commentary stuff. And I made freaking We Are Number 1, but every time someone says 1, a grown man is seen barking in an animal costume. Yes. But, besides the Mine song, which... if I think about it, I'm sorry you're going to ramble on about it, but I think that's why you get so much hate, because you get all these meme lords on your channel. I think they're from the Mine song video.
Oh, well, it's not much as hate. It's just 12-year-old kids to 10, I'd say, like, with, like, them as their profile picture, just typing, like, Mine in the comments section in that video. Those people are dead subscribers on my channel. The subscribers, like, the views... on my podcast episodes / commentary once in a while videos are represented as my actual subscriber base that are active. So I'd say half of my subscribers are from that Mine song video, and the other half are from just me interacting with the community on Twitter, Discord, and etc.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I noticed that like when we did our collab video for your channel when I came on your podcast, the video was like half disliked, and I was like, I didn't know I was
okay, so, alright, so let me clear that up for a second. It's not, the Mine song has nothing to do with that video or the dislikes. I actually partake in Discord drama. I'm not going to get into it or say names, but what they will do is they will go onto my video and mass dislike it. That's why on Twitter I said like the video, because I legit like need people to like the video just because of the unfair dislike ratio from those people. It's all died down by now, but that one video got uploaded at the peak of the drama, so that's why I got disliked so much.
Yeah, you're the rice gum of the furry fandom at this point. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. You're pretty cool. It's pretty cool, not too cool like I am. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. I'm such an egotistical bitch. But anyway, but yes, pretty cool dude. So basically, I brought you on here today, not just because I owe you for letting me come on your podcast, but you are the first guest on this channel that really focuses, besides myself, on furry commentary for the furry community in terms of YouTuber furries. And a lot of other... I do feel that, like, when it comes to furries on YouTube, they're either, like, fursuiter YouTubers, where they mostly do stuff on camera in fursuit, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just way more popular than the other community, which is, like, commentary or discussion, like, about furries, you know?
Yeah, I can kind of understand that, because if you have a fursuit, you generally get more subscribers than if you don't. But there are people who have beaten the system. If I think a lot of furries are afraid of doing commentary slash types of videos like that, because I wouldn't say that all of the commentary community is cancerous, but like a good portion of it is, because like people, in my opinion, I don't like them. If you guys like them, then, you know, that's, you know, fine. But people like Kavos or, you know, Wild Spartans or people like them in the commentary community generally have these fan bases where if you criticize or like them at all, or if you make a valid point, they'll mass dislike your video and just spam you with comments. And like big commentary channels have these like fans that will go after you and will hunt you down if you breathe and like any sort of criticism. My friend, well, we're mutual, and he might be on my podcast sometime, but Turkey Tom, he actually got into a lot of trauma with Keemstar and Kavos recently, just because he made a video criticizing Kavos on his content.
Wait, Keemstar acknowledged him?
Yeah, they were actually talking in the DMs and stuff, and
wow.
It was pretty crazy.
Well, think about it. Keemstar does seem like one of those people where like his only form of social interaction is through Twitter, so
yeah. And people like Keemstar, if you want to put him in the category of commentary, some people do, some people don't. But he has, again, a fan base where they will attack someone. Again, like, there's a lot of examples, specifically Turkey Tom, that recently happened. And I know that Keemstar has acknowledged furries before on a stream on Twitch.
Where he claimed that Pyrocynical was a furry. And
yeah,
he used
like,
his daughter's like stuffed giraffe toy animal, and his wicked thing is like, Pyrocynical likes to fuck giraffes. Sorry if that offends your species. But.
I know. I watched back on that recently, and then I just heard him say giraffe, and I'm like, I'm kind of offended.
I won't deny, even though I don't like Keemstar, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
he has some good moments. You cannot deny. He has some pretty funny moments.
Oh no, I'm actually, I've told people this, I'm actually subscribed to him only because, like, I don't like his content, and I don't like him as a person, but he can just say, like, the funniest things, and you wouldn't expect it. Like, the whole situation with, like, KSI and, like, Logan Paul and stuff like that, he was, like, I'm not into the whole thing, but, like, I do have to say, I would pay money to see KSI beat the living crap out of Logan Paul.
Wow. I see. Yeah. Yeah, and you can't also deny Keemstar once stopped a pedophile. He did.
Yeah, a Minecraft one, Lion Maker.
Yeah. The Yami Mash one was kind of shady, but honestly, I don't want to go into that.
And
anyway.
Basherverse was, I don't know the whole situation that well. I heard he was kind of mentally unstable, and Keemstar kind of put a stop to it.
I see. Yeah. It makes me think about that old video where Basherverse is like in front of like the green screen. He's wearing that like Power Rangers hoodie, and he's like, "Fuck yeah!"
That was funny.
His face is so red; it looks like he's gonna explode. But anyway, with the furry commentary community in discussion for this video or this podcast today, who would you say really like best represents the commentary community of the furry fandom on YouTube the best? And I will say, like, if you think about it this way, the furry fandom as a whole on YouTube is honestly not as big as the rest of YouTube. Like, let's think about it. The most subscribed strictly furry based YouTuber is Majira Strawberry. The only one I can think about that's a furry that's like bigger than him that does semi-furry content is this one called A Thing from Space, but she doesn't always do furry stuff, and it's like kind of rare on her end.
And then there's a couple of YouTubers who are in the gray area. Like, I know for a fact that Your Movie Sucks, he's a furry, yeah, but he never acknowledges him being a furry on camera. And then there's some people who it might be a furry, but people don't know for a fact, such as Rags, Jax Films, and Shane Dawson. People believe that they are furries, but they just don't admit it on, camera and stuff.
Yeah, but when it comes to like strictly furry based content, or at least like 80 to 90% of their content furry wise, that's Majira, and that's only about 120,000 so subscribers. So the furry community on YouTube is still pretty small. It's really active right now, and it's still in its prime time, but it's still really small.
And I can see it growing as well, because if you look back in 2016, not a lot of, like, if you want to count Your Movie Sucks, you can. But most of the furry community didn't even pass 100,000 subscribers. Only like a few of them passed 50K. But then all of a sudden you see in 2017 and 2018, it really boomed. And like a lot of channels are getting like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, such as Majira.
Yes. And that comes with him making like primarily fursuit-based like vlogs or so. When I see channels like his, I see channels like... Honestly, his channel does kind of remind me of like Shane Dawson, like kind of stuff or so, or you do like daily vlogs or something like that.
A lot of them do, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know. When I was younger, I used to think like, oh, like these vlogs are too simple, or like they're dumb or something like that. But as I get older and become more wiser, I think vlogs on YouTube aren't really that bad. They're simple and they're not really like something you need to put that much time into, but they can still be really well made.
Yeah, as long as you're not obnoxious in it, like Logan and Jake Paul, I don't care if you do vlogs.
I think there's someone hanging right there. But
funny enough, my name's Logan actually, and I get like jokes, like people will be like, "Hey, it's Logan Paul?" And, you know, I'm like, "Hey."
Yeah, but then when it comes to I rambled on for that for so long. I'm sorry, but when it comes to thank you. But when it comes to like furry YouTube channels that are more commentary based, like yours and you and me, that community is a little bit like smaller and it's not as big. And the most predominant people in that subcategory for the furry fandom that make content like that, ironically, is both Cathorix and Genesius Wolf, which I have actually done my best to avoid talking about Genesius Wolf so far for the past couple months. Yeah.
I've actually never heard of him before. Could you explain like a brief summary about him?
Okay. So all the people listening to this podcast or watching it, I just want to clear out of the way that don't think I'm trying to start shit with him, since he has started a lot of shit with people, but essentially he is a very religious YouTuber, which I'm not having a problem with that if you like making like if you like not really a religious YouTuber.
is he the brown fox with the cross on his chest?
I think that's a squirrel, but yeah. Squirrel, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him before.
But to explain it to the viewers, though, he basically does a lot of furry stuff, but he likes to incorporate his faith into it, and it starts a lot of drama with other furry YouTubers, such as Cathorix. And they actually got into a really huge beef, which I believe turned out to be fake. I haven't really watched it myself, personally.
Oh, wow, it was fake?
Yeah, it was just done to get publicity or so, and my girlfriend actually unsubscribed from both of them when she found out about that. And also another thing with Genesius is that there was this other guy who like made a critique video of his YouTube channel, and he kind of took it a little too personally to where he made a 40+ minute response video, like trying to defend himself over that, and I'm like, holy crap. But yeah, him and Cathorix stand at about 20,000 subs, which is still pretty good in the whole grand scheme of things like YouTube. Like, it's not 100,000, but that's more than most channels on the site. And I will say that when it comes to those channels, however, that's only like a fifth of like what these fursuiter channels get. And I wonder what you think about that.
Well, there's one close that you didn't mention. I believe he has 60,000, and his name is Spockter Theory. He's also a furry commentary community person. And
isn't that the penguin? The penguin?
No, I'll get into that in a minute. But Spockter Theory is the lizard in the suit. Yeah. About what you were talking about with Pangasitis, he is not a furry, so that he doesn't really count. As it's kind of like the pyroxenical rags gray area where he's not a furry, but I've seen him interact with furries before, but he doesn't make any furry videos. So, but Spockter Theory has 60K, I believe, at the moment of this recording, and he mainly again focuses on furry commentator videos. And personally, I like his channel. I think it's really cool. And I believe that what you said before when you asked me who do you think best represents the commentary community, I believe it's Spockter Theory.
I understand. And what do you think about that ratio difference between the fursuiter furry community on YouTube and then the other subgroup of furry commentator community on YouTube. Like the difference being so huge by like 5 times as much popularity.
Personally, I believe that like 50% of all furries got into the community because of the fursuits. So them seeing people in action with them on YouTube kind of brings like back to the whole point of why they joined in the first place. So I can see why a lot of them, are popular. When commentary furry channels don't get that much traction because of the fact that they don't have a fursuit in their thing and they're just, bopping around little characters. So
I understand. And that makes sense too. And I will say also, if I could add on to that, is that if you think of it this way, like even it goes down to like when they teach you this in like film school or college, or like when they tell you about television, is that when it comes to commentators, mostly what they do is they just put like gameplay footage on the screen and such. And I think the reason why fursuiters tend to beat out commentary community a lot on YouTube is because there's more visual stuff involved. Like it's going to attract more people to that, I
can agree with that. Like some commentary communities do have the gameplay in the front, but kind of ties back to your channel, because I find your channel unique when it comes to that sort of thing, because instead of like CSGO or PUBG or something like that, you have retro gameplay, and I think that that's really interesting and unique, and that kind of like separates you from the rest. But
thank you.
You're welcome. But a lot of them have character stills, kind of what Jaden Animations and The Odd Ones Out does, except they aren't storytime YouTubers. They use those stills to portray them as people instead of showing their face. So people like, again, Spoctor Theory, the other two you mentioned, and a few others.
I understand. But I would say like one thing I do tend to do when it comes to getting views and such, and I won't deny I do this intentionally to get more views, which I'm sorry, it seems shady, but like I noticed that when my views went down, I noticed that like my thumbnails were the issue, and I recently started putting pictures of fursuiters in my furry videos in the thumbnail, and that has helped me get more views and traction because it's more visually appealing,
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as it has to tie in with your video. Because like with Jake Paul in that one video saying I got laid, and he had that like really misleading thumbnail, but then like the video had nothing to do with that. If you do something like that, I don't agree with you on that.
I understand. I don't do that. I make sure if it's about furry, make sure I'll put a fursuiter in the thumbnail as long as it's about furries,
I can understand that. And another thing I'd like to bring up, something that's even smaller than the commentary community, you don't see that many furry podcasts out there, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think that also has to do with like, scheduling and such. It's hard to get like people out there to watch it. The only furry podcast like channel on YouTube that I watched to an extent, at least to some point, I didn't even find them on YouTube. I found them on iTunes, and that was I think it was called FurCast. Yeah, I think that was their old YouTube channel name. They have a new channel though, but it's called FurCast, the podcast. I don't know the name of the full channel, but that was the only one that I followed, and that was actually, if you don't remember the whole scandal, some internet trolls hacked into some radio stations up in like a few cities in one state, and they hacked it to where like they transmitted like the sexual part of their podcast to be playing on radios for like a few hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they caused a huge scandal and such.
I don't like those type of people who just do that, like, oh,
hey,
it's
more
funny.
publicity,
Yeah, publicity, but like, hey, bad publicity is publicity, as, a lot of people would put it. But still, the whole misconception of furries and like that sort of mindset, like even if it does gain more traction, that's just negative attention on the community, and I like, I just don't want that anymore. And it's actually getting a lot of positive outlooks by people, such as, again, Jax Films, Shane Dawson, and a couple of other YouTubers who have, pointed out the good side of it instead of the bad side. And that's what I like. The only negative piece of media I found that of recent that shows them in a negative light is this one weird movie. I don't know the name of it, but it has the same dude who played Zod in Superman, and it's a Christmas movie, right? It got slammed by critics, like nobody liked it, but the main point of the movie was that this guy was trying to get his friend and his wife off of being a furry, and you would see these like low quality fursuits in the movie, and like them at the party and like, you know, the club and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, wait, this is a mainstream movie with like the huge subject of furries in it, and nobody's talking about this. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, what?
Wow. I see. Is there what year did it look like it was released?
It came out last year, 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyone listening, leave a comment down below if you recognize this, and I will probably do a furry review / analysis of that if you want me to. I'll do it for like a $100 Patreon reward. I don't know.
It's probably in my history. I can DM it to you after just so you can see it. But it's crazy how...
It's going to be a legit video idea. Thank you.
It's just crazy how, like, that went under radar. I'm just glad that it's becoming a more positive light as of recent.
I understand.
And the reason why I wanted to start my podcast was kind of a mix of both originality and because it's if you think about it, I know uploading it and scheduling is the worst part. Like, it takes a week or two just to find a date and then record. But the fun part about podcast is that you sit down, you talk, one-to-one with someone, and it just goes on. Like, it could, like, it's unscripted, which, personally, if you watch some of my commentary videos, which I'm trying to lean off that now, I'm trying to go more into podcast, I sound extremely awkward, and I just don't want people to think that I'm an awkward person. It's just I wasn't used to reading off scripts, but talking, one-on-one with no script, I can fluently and cognitively express my opinion to someone without,
Can I give you some
stuttering.
Advice on that?
Yeah.
Can I give you some advice on commentary? Now, I don't know if a lot of people notice about my videos, and I don't know if you notice or not, but almost all of my videos are not scripted, like, at all.
They're
Even
not?
the commentary videos. No, they're not.
Oh, wow.
I guess technically they are, because what I do, I get an idea in my head of, like, what I want to do for a video, and then I think about that for, like, a little while, and then I, like, make bullet points of, like, certain keywords that, like, help remind me of that, and I look over that for a little bit, and then I record. And then I have an idea in my head, and it just naturally flows to my brain. So if you ever want to get back into commentary videos, you could take that method, and hopefully it'll help you out. That's just my method I do. I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought the whole script thing, like, I thought that was like a necessity when I was recording, but I never found any commentary channels that have it unscripted.
Yeah, I don't like reading from a script because I have tried that before, and I sound like a robot the whole time. But
yeah, same here.
But if I could ask you, what was really your whole history to getting to the point where you are on YouTube with your 400 plus subscribers, your furry podcast you're starting up now, and your fan base?
It was a bumpy ride, I'll tell you that much. Back in 2014, 2015, me and my friends would take our, like, iPod 4s, and we would record our screen of us playing, like, Call of Duty and, like, Minecraft and
Wow.
various other things. I still have those videos today. They're on my channel, but they're privated, so no one can see them. If I reach 1K...
500 subs. Okay.
No, 1K. 1K subscribers, me and my friends are going to do a reaction video to it. And it's going to be the worst thing ever, but it's going to be a big deal because it's 1K, so... that happened. Then 2 years later, in 2016, mid-2016, because my old name was actually Foxy50.
Wow.
And I'm like, me and my friends are like, you know what? FNAF is like a really old game at this point. Like, nobody talks about it. So I changed my name to Epic Dude 13. Now, like, everyone asks me, why Epic? Like, funny, like, the XD thing. That's not actually the reason why I changed it to that, surprisingly. Because, if anyone who doesn't know, I'm actually a Christian. I used to go to this youth group, like, with my, back in 6th grade, and it was called Epic, so I liked it so much, I put in my name, which I regret, but I did that. I was 13 at the time, so I put Epic Dude 13 in there, and that was when I made the meme videos, We Are Number One, Mine Song, and, like All-Star, etc. That was a meme channel, and I actually got a decent amount of views. I got 100 subscribers, and but then it kind of hit me in 2017, like early. I wasn't enjoying making meme videos anymore. I wanted to have a serious channel where I did serious content, and I all of a sudden, again, I changed my thing, because going back a little bit, in 6th grade, I found the furry community by watching a cringe compilation, and
oh God.
I know, it's very interesting, but I'm a type of person who likes watching cringe compilations just to, like, you know, for fun. And I see this community, and I thought as a little 6th grade me, I'm like, I'm going to do some detective work. So I went onto Reddit, and I went onto a couple of other places to get legitimate research on furries. And at the time, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. But back in 2016 was the worst time to be a furry. Like, so many people hated it. And I'm just like, you know, I'm going to hold back on this. I don't want to make a, you know, I don't want anyone to know about it. So
I would ask you, though, if I could interrupt for a sec, what made you think that 2016 was a really bad year for furries? That was the year where I started. I wasn't a furry until like 2014 or so, but 2016 is really when I started like getting stuff done in the fandom, and I didn't see that much hate that year. I would say like Leafy, things like that, with Pyro.
Yeah, I'm talking about those type of channels. Like, there'd be so many videos explaining why furries were the worst thing on Earth, and like you'd see this whole like war and ordeal, like of people just spamming like, you know, hate comments about it and like expose videos, and again with the Keemstar with the pyrocynical thing. But then in 2017, it just kind of stopped, and there's this one meme channel called, I think his name's Weast, and he made a video kind of poking fun at it, saying he was just like, was it the election that threw us off? Or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah. If you notice, a lot of channels are like, you know, popping up and becoming more popular, and I feel like that's because more people are accepting it, and including myself. In 2017, I'm like, you know what, I think it's cool. I don't really care at this point what people think. I'm just gonna do it. And now, to this day, like, because I always felt in 6th grade, like, I felt pressured to tell people. I didn't. I just felt pressured to. And nowadays, like, I don't tell many of my IRL friends about it. Like, most of them don't know. But, like, at the same time, I don't feel pressured. Like, I have to. Like, I don't feel like, oh, man, what if they find out? Like, it's nothing, really. And, and the reason why I came up with Man Giraffe is because, 2 reasons. One, giraffes were very special to me as a kid. I used to have, like, this stuffed animal giraffe I'd take everywhere. We'd go to the zoo all the time, because I lived by one. And I would always, like, put in, like, a quarter and, like, in this dispenser where it, like, dispense leaves. And I would always, like, go to the giraffes and, like, pet it and, like, you know, give it leaves. And number 2, I want, no offense to any, like, wolves or foxes out there, I wanted to be original. I wanted to have an original, like...
Personal. Wow.
I wanted to have an original type character, like, that represented me, like, not just a generic, you know, wolf or fox. No offense to anyone, I still think that they're cool. I even have a second second character in the works, that is a wolf-fox hybrid, surprisingly, and,
reminds me of, I don't know, like, that reminds me, like, a third species I feel like that's also kind of overused in the fandom a lot is getting to the point where it's, I think, dragons or Sergals, probably.
Yeah, I've seen those. I'm actually friends with a couple of them. But, yeah, I sent you the basic prototype of it. I just need to find an artist and commission it because, little secret, I am trash at art. So, I commissioned a couple artists to do my design. My current design I won in an art raffle, and it really represents me because, like, you do not, if you know me in public, which most of you don't, but you will not see me without a sweatshirt on. I love sweatshirts all the time, and, like, I know it's kind of like a cliche to have, like, sweatshirts on your character, but I'm like, yeah.
Sartorius joke. I'm just sorry.
Oh, and then this one's kind of a controversial pick, but I have cloud goggles on my character, and the main reason for that is I'm not a Little Pump fan or, like, you know, that type of rap, but I love rap, like SoundCloud, mostly Ski Mask or Rich Chinga, or heck, even Joji, you know, Pink Eye and stuff. I like them.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So that's why I put cloud goggles on him. I don't wear cloud goggles in public, but I do have a pair in my room. But yeah, just that, and he's kind of like a crazy character, like, but chill at the same time. That's kind of represented as me. So that's how that kind of played out. I did commentary videos at first, but then I told you before I felt kind of awkward doing it from the script. So I actually was inspired by Baited and the Baited podcast with Keemstar and Colossal. It's crazy. And Catch 33 and the Jarcast. And I was inspired by those to make a podcast, and it just felt more natural. I've done I just got done recording one yesterday, but if you want to count that one, 4 episodes. I don't know, this will be out tomorrow, whenever we're recording this, but yeah, I just think it's more fun to do it, because even though it takes longer, I feel like it's not only more fun to do it, but just, more natural for me as a person, because like I said before, I don't have to read off a script or anything.
I understand. That's cool. Yeah, I do like how podcasts are kind of becoming more like of a relevant thing, and yet at the same time, I do feel like that could be kind of a bad thing, because podcasts, I'm noticing they're popping up a lot more. You know how like every popular YouTube channel tends to have like a gaming channel now?
Yeah.
I feel like that's also applying to podcasts. Like Shane Dawson has a podcast too, I believe.
He's had one since 2014 though.
I see.
And but the thing that really scares me is I was like being bored, and I decided to go check out Logan Paul's channel just to, for a meme. And I watched his newest video, and he announced that he was making a podcast, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It was called like the Low Gang Cast. I don't know what it was called, but.
I see. I will say that if you are going to, since you're currently doing podcasts in a time where it's in its prime still, especially within the furry fandom, try to still be unique as best as you can before. I feel like podcasts are getting to the point where they're almost at the verge of becoming oversaturated. So make sure you really push out your episodes and make them as high quality as you can, which I'm sure you will do.
Yeah, I talk about topics that mostly people don't talk about, specifically the furry community. Because you see these podcasts, even Baited, like Keemstar has admitted that he'll rush out an episode of the podcast because it's a trending topic. I do not tend to rush out, I don't rush out podcasts just to get trending topics covered. If while we're recording, a trending topic is going on, and it just happens to be uploaded, like, during relevancy, then that's fine, but I'm not gonna, force it out there. The podcast that I just got done last night, we talked about the Florida shooting, and like all the controversy behind that, and the Black Panther movie, and various other topics. I don't want to spoil it, but it's relevant, but at the same time, I'm not going to rush it to get it out.
I understand. Yeah, that makes sense too, and that's good that you do focus on making quality over quantity a lot of time, which is a lot of YouTubers tend to lose focus of a lot. I will say though, please just get rid of that freaking watermark. Okay,
so explain. All right, so let me explain to you guys this. My latest 2 videos have had the Kind Master watermark. I know, haha, big meme. But actually, my computer got completely eradicated. I had to get a new one, and I have it now, thank God. And it's I'm going to be using that from now on. But those 2 previous episodes with the watermark, I had to render them on my phone because I had no other way to get it out. And I didn't want to have to wait a month or 2 just to get those 2 episodes, including you. I didn't want to have to wait 2 months to get those out. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to download this app, render it, and then upload it. And I did that. And a few people have criticized me on the watermark, but I just explained to them the situation I'm going through, and they're like, oh, okay, no big deal.
I understand. That's good. Thank you for making sure to get me out there.
You're welcome. I actually stumbled upon your Steve Harvey video because I was doing I saw the Steve Harvey video originally, and I'm thinking,
you mean Dr. Phil? Do you mean Dr. Phil?
Oh my, look, Dr. Phil is basically the white version of Steve Harvey. Okay, everyone knows. But
Dr. Phil's more popular though. I'm sorry.
Well, Steve Harvey is a more funnier man. But anyway, Dr. Phil made episode on furries, and I was like watching it. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of weird. And I saw your video in my recommended feed, watched it, started watching your channel. I'm like, original content, I like it, and I subscribed. And then we started talking in DMs, and we did podcast episodes together.
Yes, appreciate that a lot. And I was kind of nervous about making that video because another YouTuber known as Abergwine, who kind of does a mixture of both fursuiting and furry commentary, had a Furries in the Media series, and she had a did the video on the same episode of Dr. Phil, and I was scared that, like, oh, what if people think I'm ripping her off or something like that. My video was more successful than hers.
I think I might have seen that video in my recommended feed, and I might have watched it, but yours was just more memorable, so I couldn't. You're welcome. I don't remember that well.
Yeah, that was the video that really blew up for me, and I'm really grateful for that. Just wish YouTube didn't have to fucking copyright it, but
oh wow!
And I just dropped something. What the fuck? Oh god.
No.
Dropped my fidget spinner.
Oh.
But anyway, other than that, what would you say is some other memorable YouTubers you would recommend in the furry community, or mostly, be it for fursuiter or furry commentary, you would recommend?
I would say it's kind of a touchy subject. I forget. I literally just had his name on my mind. He's this otter. I know this is. I'm so done. But he's this one fursuit channel. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know. But otter, fursuit, yeah. Friends with a lot of popular. What?
I think there's like I think that's only his Twitter name, but there's one called like Otter Booty. Is that who you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about, but I forget his name.
I see. But yeah, he's pretty. I think I know what you're talking about. He's kind of gray looking or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, eyes are, you know, different.
I got you. Any others?
You know, I'm actually still trying to get into some furry YouTubers at the moment because I've been recently getting into a lot of them. I know a lot of people on Twitter who are furries, and they're fun to talk to, but their channels are small, but they don't really have plans on making like, they'll do gameplay, but that's it. People like Mr. Stalin, Coyotes, and Hijacked Husky. He's a really good friend of mine. Fear the Deer. Those people, they're really cool, but they're not primarily content creators, but they're just really cool people that I talk to.
It's cool. And we're heading up at around 40 minutes now, so I think it's a good point to end off this podcast for today. Thank you so much, Man Giraffe, or Golo Gang, for coming on the podcast today. All the social media you want to shout out, what do you want to shout out for all your social media?
YouTube, I'll provide the links to you after this to put in the description. Yes. YouTube, Twitter, and I have a Discord server if you want to personally talk to me on there. And, you know, we have yeah, Seether's there too. You see, if you wanna be in a voice call with me, Seether, and a couple of other guys, you know, maybe one day you'll be in the middle of it.
Yeah. So it's just YouTube, Twitter, and Discord pretty much? Is there not like an Instagram or an Ask.fm or something like that? Or SoundCloud?
No, I don't have those.
All right, cool. So pretty much gonna wrap it up for today. Any last words or things you want to talk about?
Just don't be obnoxious.
Okay.
If you're making a podcast or vlogs or whatever type of content, don't be obnoxious, and make sure you respect other people, because like the whole situation that you were talking about before, just don't, even if you're religious or not, respect people. Just respect. Don't disrespect, or bad things will happen to you.
I understand. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Thank you again, Man Giraffe, for coming on my podcast today. All the links in the description to all of his social media will be down below. Remember to subscribe to him, follow him on Twitter, and join his Discord server. Again, all those links down below. Remember to also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please support me on Patreon to further help out the channel. Hit that like button, and please turn on that notification bell. I've been SeetherCord.
And I'm Man Giraffe.
Okay, and we will see you guys next time. So goodbye, everyone.
Bye.